afternoon, good evening, good morning for all the people around the world. My name is Hernan Dominguez. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing of Hazard Control Technology. How you can see, English is my second language. I came from Argentina. I was a volunteer firefighter in Argentina for many years. And finally, I worked like a professional firefighter in the federal police in Argentina too. I started to study like a safety engineer. And a few years ago, I moved to USA and started to work with this company when I know this technology. Today, the idea of this webinar is share with all of you different point of view of this, the forest fires. The idea of this is how we start to use the encapsulator technology in different countries around the world in these special fires. We try to explain what is the encapsulator technology, what is the features of the encapsulator technology, and how you can use in the forest fires. Let me start with, in the past, in 1988, in the middle of a fire, I finished from the fire to the hospital, because one of the worst things that you have on the forest fire is the smoke, the toxicity of the smoke. I breathed CO, a lot of CO, and I finished 2 days in the hospital. I cannot breathe. I poisoned myself with the smoke. And when I started to understand a few years later, many years later, that we have a technology that we can decrease the temperature in the middle of the fire, and we can decrease the toxicity of the smoke, that help to breathe and help to see where is the fire. I started to understand that we have a wonderful technology in our hand, but the problem that we have to teach to the forest firefighter how they can use. And we started to teach a few years ago, and I can have the opportunity to go to the Amazon in the middle of the wildfire and start to test this product in the middle of the fire. And this is the idea of this webinar: share with all of you all the information that we receive from different people, and I make in the Amazon in different fires, in different wildfires. To show you that's how is the wildfires special in here in USA. Let me share with you this short video.
Wildfires burn up to 5 million acres of land in the United States each year. While they can start naturally, wildfires are often caused by humans, with devastating consequences. Wildfires are large, uncontrolled infernos that burn and quickly spread through wild landscapes. Types of wildfires may include forest, brush, and peatland fires, depending on the landscapes affected. Wildfires require 3 components known as the fire triangle: a heat source, fuel, and oxygen. Heat sources such as the sun, a hot bolt of lightning, or a smoldering match can supply enough heat to spark a fire. That spark then turns into flames when fuel or any flammable material is present. Dry, dead grasses, leaves, and trees are common fuels for wildfires, but so are living vegetation called green fuels. Pine trees and other evergreens contain flammable oils that can burn when exposed to a heat source. As the fuel burns, the resulting flames feed and thrive off of oxygen. When air movement or wind occurs, not only is more oxygen supplied to the fire, but it may also help transport and spread the flames. Since wildfires occur outdoors, they have a nearly endless supply of oxygen from our atmosphere to burn. Many wildfires are the result of natural causes. A warmer climate and weather patterns like El Niño can create the hot, dry conditions necessary for fires to erupt. However, about 90% of wildfires are caused by human activity, such as campfires that become uncontrollable, improperly handled cigarettes, or arson. Although wildfires occur worldwide, they are most common in the western United States. There, high temperatures, drought, and frequent lightning and thunderstorms can create the perfect setting for wildfires. While they can be destructive and sometimes even deadly for humans, wildfires do play an important role in nature. They can help a forest by removing harmful insects or diseased plants, and they can clear thick canopies to help sunshine reach seedlings on a forest floor. By being aware of the conditions necessary for wildfires to occur, they can be managed and prevented, thereby saving lives and making way for the positive effects of wildfires.
Okay, I want to share and I want to show you this video. And the other thing that I want to share with you is that's how we have fires all around the world. In the presentation, I put and I sent to you this address of the website that you can see the last 3 months, how was the move of the different fires all around the world. And if you can see here, this is an interactive world forest map. This is from March to June. And you can see here, you have Australia, you have United States, you have Central America, Argentina, Paraguay, Africa, and Europe. And you can see now from March 27, how it started to grow the last 3 months, all the fires around the world. If you can see in this season, we have more fire on the east of United States than the west, but see Australia, how has a lot of different fire. See here in Africa, see in Central America, Brazil, Paraguay, and here in United States, you can see all these fires in this season. This is, I show, or you can see all the year, I try to show you the last 3 months. That is a problem that we have all around the world. What is the idea of this? The idea of these 2 slides show you that we have a problem, and more we work, like the video comment, you have dry seasons, you have a problem with the human, you have a lot of the fire now is bigger, stronger fires. And the idea is how you can use the technology. The last year in 2021, we were working in a new standard for fire control and vapors control, for fire solution and vapor control in USA. The new standard is the NFPA 18A, and you have some tests to make in the Class A fires. And in the same time, we were working in Brazil with the standard of Brazil to create for Class A fire with these kind of additives. And the idea is show you how you can use these additives and how you can spend less time on the fire. You can decrease the temperature and how you can decrease the toxicity. We know that we have a huge enemy in front of us all around the world. And this is the idea that to pay attention that how we can start to work. Okay, here in the video, you can see that now we have an ally. Now we have a test, an encapsulation. What mean? What is an encapsulation? The idea is an encapsulation is a fluorine-free 100% agent that is non-corrosive, 100% biodegradable, that you can use without problem to hurt the environmental. See, you can use in different class of fires. UL have listed in NFPA 18 under class A and class B fire suppression agent. In the same time, you can use for control vapors if you have a problem not only about for a fire, you have an accident, you have a problem with some fire truck that you have a spill, you can control in the same time the vapors. But how works this, or what is the definition of an encapsulator agent? The encapsulator agent is a type of water additive whose basic building blocks are spherical micelle. These spherical micelle, they can encapsulate hydrocarbons and carbon molecules. This is one part of how you can understand that you can decrease the toxicity of the smoke, that you can encapsulate the CO in the middle of the forest fire. And this, when you work with fuels, you can encapsulate the fuels and you can separate the fuels in a molecular level with the oxygen. Here, to understand better how works this spherical micelle, when we work, we are how, like firefighter, you understand very well about foam, because the basic building block of foam is the bubble, and you have to create with the agent, with water, and you have to create with air to create this bubble and create the blanket on the fuels. This is a different technology. And here you can understand how this spherical micelle that is very, very small, you can put inside of the truck, inside with an adapter, or you can put it in the backpack, and you can see how work this missile.
Encapsulator technology, the next generation of fire and hazard mitigation. First, we start with a simplified version of a single encapsulator agent molecule consisting of a hydrophilic polar head which loves water, dissolves in water, and a hydrophobic nonpolar tail which fears water and will do anything to get away from water. Once the EA molecules enter the water, they instantaneously and automatically orient with the nonpolar tails inward and the polar heads outward, forming millions of spherical micelles. Micelles travel towards and exit the nozzles, forming EA droplets. Micelles nearest to the surface of each droplet automatically break apart. The nonpolar tails orient outside the droplet with polar heads on the surface, forming an EA skin on the surface of every droplet. In addition to the EA skin, there are millions of molecular spherical micelles within each droplet.
Here you can see in the video the simple definition of the molecule that have a polar head and non-polar tail. See, the polar tail is the head that loves the water, and if you listen, you have millions of millions. This is a nanomolecular. It's very, very small, and this is the non-polar tail is we're looking for a substance that have carbon in his composition. How you put, when you put this agent inside, all the tails put inside of the spherical micelles, and you can use with an adapter, and you can premix. The big issue in the wildfires or in the forest fires, sometimes you don't have adapters, and you can put this inside of the tank, inside of the the backpacks, inside of different equipment that you have, because you don't need any special nozzles, any special equipment to work with this kind of agent. To understand the size of this agent, you can understand that it's like a grain, it's like a pea, a single pea, the molecular of the A500, and the size of the water, you can imagine like is the world. See, the idea of this that you have to create a skin on the wall, and this is why you use millions of this single pea. Yes, what I try to explain that with this you change that how you can spray all the temperature around the droplet of the water. Let me share with you the feature of this agent. When you use with, this is a nozzle we have that use the doctor inside, but is a product that use the firefighter in German. When you use this, you have all these millions of etheric micelles that they start to put the polar gel on the droplet of water, and all the tails are looking for carbons or hydrocarbons. In the forest fire, they work very wonderful to encapsulate the carbon on the smoke. See how an encapsulator agent acts. See, if you can reduce the surface tension, that you can have more penetration on the ground, on the different fuels, especially in the class A fuels. You have a rapid and permanent heat reduction from 1200 Fahrenheit to 125 Fahrenheit, 80 Fahrenheit in seconds, and the encapsulation cover flammable materials into non-combustible materials, special to substances that have carbon in their composition, such as carbon monoxide. And the other important thing here is the disruption of free radicals. Is with this million of A500 molecular on the droplet of water, the droplet of water is so heavy that can interrupt the free radicals. This special feature is wonderful to decrease the toxicity on the smoke and on the soot. The first characteristic of this that we use a lot is the rapid cooling of this. And this is how in this million of droplets of A500 on each droplet of water, you create a thermal circuit where you can spray all the temperature around of each droplet of water. Let me show you how work the thermal circuit. See, when you receive the temperature of the fire, you can spray around of all the water of droplet. This is a case, this is a car fire that you can see the temperature 1200 centigrades, 1000 centigrades in the middle of the fire. And you can see here when the firefighter arrives, see, you have temperature of 1200 in the middle, 500, 700 centigrade here, start 4 minutes, 10 seconds, and in 10 seconds, you decrease the temperature from 1200 to less than 250. See? You stop the fire, you stop the propagation, and then you close your nozzles and you're looking for the hot spots to finish, to extinguish the fire. Here, he opened the door and see the time. We start the fire. He start to extinguish the fire 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Here is 5 minutes, 15 seconds. In 1 minute, you decrease the temperature from 1200 centigrades to less than 200 centigrade in less than 1 minute. Yeah, he's using a nozzle that spray 75 liters per minute. He only sprayed in 1 minute 75 liters, and he extinguished this fire in less than 1 minute. Yeah, he sprayed less water and see why this was. We have a test that when you use water for the fire have a reduction, and this is the quantity of the reduction. It's 6,624,700 kilocalories per hour with water. When you put the skin on the droplet of water at 1%, you spray 22,200,000 kilocalories per hour. Is more than 3 times that you decrease the temperatures. You take more kilocalories per hour. But the other thing of this technology, that you not only are working to decrease the temperature, you are working in encapsulates all the smoke of this fire. When you have a fire and the smoke starts to heat in more than 700 centigrades, the smoke starts to burn. With this, you not only decrease the temperature, you decrease the toxicity, and the people can breathe better in the fire, and you can be less exposed in the fire for the CO that can create some issue in the different firefighters. The second characteristic of this is the encapsulation. That's this encapsulate all the hydrocarbons and all the product that's carbon in his composition. Here you can see a test that the test that we mentioned in NFPA
F500 encapsulator technology. F500 encapsulator agent is the only agent that is capable of performing the NFPA 18A Section 77 test for encapsulating fuels. This test is required for an agent to be listed as an encapsulator agent. First, a gallon of gasoline is poured into the pan. Next, 16 ounces of F500EA is mixed with the gas. The test requires at least 5 gallons of water to complete to 1:8:40 ratio. 1 part F500, 8 parts fuel, and 40 parts water. It is important to note that more water can be added, but the test requires at least 5 times more water than fuel. The mixture is left to sit for 1 minute to ensure that the air bubbles can dissipate and the test fuel can be totally encapsulated. After 1 minute, the test requires that a lit torch can be run over the surface of the test fuel and produce no combustion, therefore rendering the fuel non-flammable and totally encapsulated. The test also requires that the test fuel sits for at least 2 hours and then be tested again. This proves the fuel is totally encapsulated and non-flammable.
Okay, here the person that is talking in the video said that you have to pass in 1 minute and you have to pass the torch 2 hours later. Here we test and we try to, with gasoline, with the encapsulation of the gasoline, we try to extinguish 2 tires. See, if you see, please focus on the flames and focus on the smoke. Remember that the characteristic of the product encapsulate the hydrocarbons, but the ability of this product that is more, because you can encapsulate, you can, with the same product, the same agent with the gasoline, you can cool the tires. If you cool the fuel, you don't have more flames, and in the same time, you encapsulate the smoke. See now, and focus on the flames and focus on the smoke. With one bucket of gasoline, you can extinguish this fire and you can encapsulate the smoke. This is to understand. If you use the other technology like foam, and when you throw the blankets on the gasoline move, and you can have a fire and burn the firefighter. In this case, how the gasoline, the A500 encapsulate the gasoline, and you put in contact with the fire, you don't have the vapors of the gasoline. This is why the gasoline don't burn. The other characteristic special for the forest fires that you have to understand is the reduction of the toxins. Yes, this is a huge problem in the middle of the forest fire, especially when you have a huge fire with a lot of smoke moving inside of the cities, inside of the town. With this technology, that you not only can prevent these health issues on the firefighter, you can prevent these health issues on the city around the fires. You can stop the fire, you can stop the propagation, but the worst thing of this kind of fire is the smoke. You can stop the toxicity of the smoke. Here, we make a test on Cleanson report, but I want to share with you this fire on a tire dam in the middle of a fire. They have a fire on more than 100 tires. This is in Panama in February of 2021. See the smoke. This smoke starts to move inside the town. The firefighter in this area start to work 8 o'clock in the morning with water and with foam. Yes, they cannot stop the smoke. They cannot stop the fire. And in the noon, they call our distributor in Panama to bring the product, to test the product in this fire. And they went to the fire with 18 pails of A500. They don't have any doctor on the fire. They use, if you see the video, they put the pail from the top of the tank. And in this fire, they had 2 fire trucks and 1 3,000-gallon tanker. They start to use these 3 trucks on the middle of fire from 8 o'clock in the morning. But when they start to work with this agent, they only use these fire trucks. They have this fire before, years before. And when I start to talk with a fire chief about this fire, he commented me, Hernan, you know that in this fire, we believe that we spend more than 48 hours in the fire because we have this fire in the past. And we spend 40 hours to extinguish the fire. How we understand that we spend a lot of time, a lot of people. We use 12 people all these days. We spend a lot of more than 30,000 gallons of water, and we spend a lot of time. And the problem of this, we have all this smoke with different families in the city close of this place with some breath problems. When they start to use this agent, they start 2 o'clock, see the smoke. Remember the smoke in the first picture. See the smoke when they start to spray. See, all the smoke is white. See, if you can see how is the smoke. You remember the black smoke that is moving. They spray with water, but they cannot stop the toxicity of the smoke. In this fire, they start to spray, and 2 hours later, they extinguish the fire. They don't spend 48 hours that the firefighter can have an accident. They don't spend 48 hours trying to evacuate the people of the city to don't have issues to breathe. In 2 hours, they extinguish the fires and they return to the fire department. This is, we try to show you how when you start to understand this technology that you only can use for extinguish fire, you can use for extinguish fire and prevent different health issues on the firefighter and on the citizens around the fire, is a wonderful way to understand how the new technology help in this kind of fire. This is some tests that I want to show you. We make this test here in Georgia, but we made with pallets. We pre-treat at 1% these pallets on the left, and we burn the pallet on the right. Okay. We let burn, you have the propagation, you have the radiation. How we start to test this in Georgia, different countries around the world say, yes, but we have different fuels. But it's not, we don't have only pallets. And in the next video, I try to show you how we start to test this burn bar resistant in different fuels. Here we let burn more than 3 minutes. See how you can stop the propagation. If you have a house close to the fire, you can spray, you can decrease the temperature, you can decrease the fire, and then you can finish the work. You can extinguish the fire with small equipment like backpacks. See, you can. We have some tests in structural fire that spray with this agent, and when they burn, see how fast extinguish the fire. Okay? In second, you don't have more the black smoke. The only thing that when you spray this fire, you have to spray all around of the fire. And when this fire touch the fire, immediately encapsulate the smoke, decrease the temperature, and stop the fire. It means you can see the people, how they can touch the pallets, see? How they can touch without problem, fire extinguishing. Let me move forward. Here we try to burn. This is why when we talk about burn bar resistant, is not a retardant, but how take a lot of temperature, more than 22 million kilocalories per hour. This is how you can protect the different facilities. You can use to spray and work like a fire retardant. It's not a fire retardant, it's an encapsulated agent. But this is how you can protect your people, and especially if you have a crew in the middle of the fire, you can spray around the fire truck. You can spray the people, and you can stop the propagation to burn the same crew. This is pallets. Let me show you other fuels. This is in Panama. They have this kind of hail. Yeah? Let me show you how we treat the middle of the hail here. 1%. I'm working here spraying with A500. Then we burn the other part of the hail. If you see, when I arrive to the part that I spray, stop the fire, stop the propagation. Here you have all the fire chief of Panama, because they try to understand how we can use this to protect the different villages, the different houses in the middle of the forest. I take a part of the hay with A500 and I put in the middle of the fire. Okay. I try to open, to give more air. See now when I put on the top of the fire, the smoke. See? Don't burn, but start to take temperature from the fire and start to create this like a steam. I try to open to burn, but the same hail with agent, don't burn and start to take temperature from the other side that don't have any agent inside. Okay. Now I try to burn the part that I spray. Here, see if you see, don't pass. Okay. This is different to the pallets. Okay. When you see this, the fuel is lighter than the pallet. Burn and stop the burn and extinguish with the fire alarm. Okay. This is in Chile. This is a pre-treatment of pine branches with A500. If you see, this is dry pines in Chile. It's very. If we have some forest firefighters here, they understand very well how burn so easy this kind of fuels. See now how strong is the flames and how he starts to propagate. See now how strong is the flames here, and he start to move, he start to propagate, but here he start to touch the product. See the smoke, the white smoke. See, here we have all the agent. This is why when we talk with the forest firefighter, we don't have to see to be only in the different way. We can protect to stop the propagation. And this is one of the ways that how we can spray. We don't have to attack the heat of the fire. We can start to stop the different propagation of the side of the fire. We can spray this, and when we stop the propagation and the fuel starts to burn, we can finish to extinguish the fire with less equipment, okay? With backpack, with a small trucks. See? Here, the person turned to the other side to show how to stop the propagation. More you put product here, you stop this propagation, and then you can finally extinguish the fire. See? Let me move forward to show you, see, how when you start to see the first part of the fire is a big fire moving, and in some part of this agent stop the propagation, taking temperature of the fire. See, you have less fire, you can extinguish with less water. And this is in Colombia. We sprayed this on dry palm leaves. No, sorry, I moved the mouse. Yes, we pre-treat these palm leaves. We burn the palms without treatment here. See, here you have this part on your screen on the left. It is the palm with treatment. Here you can see how is the fire. Stop the fire here. See? Don't burn this part of the leaves. And finally, you can extinguish with backpack. And the last, we test on Chile with Class A foam, and we test with our agent. And this is 3 days later, they return to try to burn the part that we use with A500. And if you see the video, the fire starts, but when they touch the product, start to extinguish the fire. See? They test these different days for more than 1 week, and they have the same reaction. Okay? You can protect this. The difference is the kind of the fuels that you have in place, and you can use this for 1 week. We have some tests here in USA, more than 3 weeks, more than 1 month, that with the pre-treats, we try to burn, and we don't have a ignition. You see the fire start, and then immediately extinguish the fire. This is how, when you understand this technology, you can use in different way to protect and to stop the propagation. This is the same test, and this is the message that we received from the fire chief. This is in Spanish, sorry, that 3 days later, the temperature is 19 centigrades, the humidity is 60%, and the wind is 16 kilometers from the south. This is the hour that they made the test. We start to use in different parts the backpacks, and when you use here USA, you don't, the firefighters don't use a lot of this backpack. They use different tools to work in the fire. But we start to test this in Peru, this kind of backpack. This is a test that we make in Chile. This is a hard backpack with A500. And we test this backpack in Ecuador. This is a tire. See the smoke? We will use a backpack. See the smoke, eh? To extinguish this tire. 1% of A500 inside the backpack. See the smoke?
Que tiene el producto para el combate del incendio. El fuego en segundos
with a little amount of water, they can extinguish this half tire, and you don't have more this smoke, black smoke from the tire. You stop the propagation, you stop the fire, you stop the toxicity of the smoke. And this is a new backpack is electric backpack that they are using in Argentina with country. They not only use for forest fire, when they start to test this backpack with a lithium battery inside, they use for spill control, they use for cleaning, and when they start to use, they can see that they can spray more and they can use less water to stop the fire. And this is on the nights using the product. In the middle of the mountain. And we start to test in different ways in the forest fire with different firefighter. We use this this equipment is a high pressure equipment that you can use with this the A500, and you can spray very far away. Okay? This is a similar equipment that we can the firefighter in Argentina use with foam, but here we test with A500. See, here we extinguish with this equipment. When he starts to throw, in this case, I say that he has to cool the metal. See, he tried to extinguish. When he starts to cool the metal and spray on the fuel, he can extinguish faster. He starts to cool. And finally, the idea is show how works this equipment, that you can spray very far away and you can use in different situations. This is the test that they put the A500 inside of the tank, or they have an adductor that they can use with a pail on one side of this equipment. This is the forest kit that they use in the forest fires in 2020. This is the firefighter of Cordoba. They have a huge forest fire. All the province of Cordoba burned in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. This equipment make use on Chile with different company of forestry. And this is a mobile fire brigade from Arauco in Chile that they use on the forest fire with this, our product. This is in Brazil, because when you have this kind of fire, you have other kind of fire in the agriculture that you can use. This company start to make this equipment, and they add inside of this a tank with A500, and they can use to stop the propagation of the fire inside the farms. They have different options. They have different things how they can use. And let me show you. This is a test that they make with John Deere in this month in Brazil. They test, here you can see the equipment they test first with water, and then they test with A500. Here you can see that they have 3 tires, and here you have almost 5. 40 seconds. In 15 seconds, you extinguish the fire and you start to cool all the tires with the same equipment. Okay. See this? They burn this. They spray the pallets on the side with A500, and see how they use this equipment to extinguish fire. See? They extinguish the smoke. The smoke is white. Remember that I mentioned that in the pallet that they have to the left, they pre-treat with A500. In this case, when they finish the extinguish of these pallets, they spray fuel. See, they touch to see from 700 centigrade to 52 centigrade. They try to burn. And here they spray gasoline on the top of the pallet to try to burn. Remember that these pallets are pre-treated with A500. When the fuels burn, the pallets didn't burn. When the fuel finished to burn, you don't have fires on the pallet. Yeah. The other situation that we use is with helicopter, how you can use with planes. And this product is how we have millions of this agent on the droplet of water. The droplet of A500 with water is so heavy that when you throw with the airplane, you have a lot of penetration on the pines. If you use other technology, okay, if you use other technology like foam, you have hello. If you use the other technology like foam, the foam with the wing, they are moving and they stop on the top of the pines. In this case, how is so heavy the droplet of the A500 with water, you can have more penetration inside of the different trees. The airplane that use more normal, they have a tank here on the front, 3,000 liters, and they require 30 liters of A500 to 1%. When you have in the middle of the fire, in the middle of nowhere, you try to use less agent that you can. See, here in the fire of Córdoba, you can see they use only one pail of 20 liters, 5 gallons inside of the plane. It's less than 1%. It's almost 0.7%, 0.5%. But when I talk with the pilot said, Hernan, it's my first time when I use this product. It's my first time when I throw an agent, immediately we can stop the fire. But if the pilot is a bad pilot that you cannot hit the fire, when you spray and the fire arrives to the place that you throw the product, you can stop the propagation and you give time to the crew on the ground to arrive to the place that finish the work with backpacks, with other kind of equipment. But when you use this, you can stop immediately the propagation. You can kill immediately the fire. Here is in Córdoba, 2020. Fire. Done. This was in August, September of 2020. And in 2021, Georgia Forest Service, we made a test with this, and this organization tests 2 different agents. One is like a phone, and the other was our agent. When they test, they try to looking for, because the problem on Georgia is about the trees, the pines. And the problem is that they have different houses under the pines. When they throw a product from the airplanes, the problem of aeration that the pine stop and they cannot, the product cannot arrive to the houses. Well, see how they spray. This is a test that they made here in Georgia. Here is the supervisor of these guys, and listen the comment.
Out. Going out.
He's touching the wood that the product touch, the product spray. You can see fires under the
He wet it good. It was a little late on the drop, but he wet it good.
But where the product touch, immediately you can touch with the hand. Yes, cool immediately. The fire that have this fire extinguish immediately, and you can touch with the hand. Let me see. Here is the other way that we use on the firefighter is a helicopter that they use these Bambi buckets, is 1,000 liters. You can use here 10 liters. Here is the way that you can use with A500. You can put A500 here 1%. When the baby bucket come here with the helicopter, they take from this pool and they spray on the fire. When I went to the Amazon fire in Bolivia, they don't have this kind of pool, and they charge this bucket with a hose from the truck. Yes, I was talking with the fire chief, and he mentioned that they don't have other solution, but they have a house problem, a house that the fire start to come, and they want to use this technique that is very dangerous for this because you have the helicopter on the top, but they use this and less of a few minutes, they put the agent inside, and they can start to spray, they can stop the fire in the middle of these houses, in the middle of the Amazon fire. See? In less than 1 minute, they spray, they put inside of the agent, and the helicopter move away. The other big guy that we have on the forest fire is this helicopter Boeing CH-47 Chinook. They have a capacity of 10,000 liters, and they use 100 liters of A500 in this Bambi bucket. Yeah? We test this in Chile, and this is the test that we made in the middle of the fire. Here, if you see, is a helicopter using the A500, see here, with this Bambi bucket. When our people in Chile talk with the pilot, said it's amazing because we use less water, we use less time with this agent, and we can spray more the fire that we don't have to return to have a new fire when we spray like water. When you spray this product from the air, you don't have to return to the same place because the fire stops and they can focus on other part to stop the propagation of the fire. Here is the other issue that's I can work. I have this problem in Bolivia, in the middle of the Amazon. Some organization of environmental organization, they don't want to use this product in the middle of the fire about the toxicity. And the problem of the fire, when you have a fire, is that a lot of product that use in the middle of the fire use fluorosurfactants in the middle of these chemicals, hurt the environmental, causing irreversible genetic mutation of animals and destroying the ozone layer. This product don't have this kind of chemicals inside, is fluorine-free. And the other problem is the quantity of smoke that you create in this kind of fire. See, 80 to 100 tons of smoke. And this is the problem, that you have carbon monoxide, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides. And with this kind of agent, we not only can stop the propagation, say the people, we can work on the smoke, on this problem of the carbon monoxide, the sulfur oxides, and the nitrogen oxides to decrease the toxicity more than 98%. And we can say not only the people, we can say in this part, the animals. How we have this issue, and in the past, a few years ago, I made a test in a fire department. When we finish a fire department, we use like a tank, drums. We cut the drums 200 liters in the middle, and we used to burn with gasoline. When we finish the train, we turn on the grass these 3 different drums. And when we finish, the fire chief called me and they say, hey, your product, what is your product? Because when we turn these drums, the grass that leaks or receive the product grow bigger than the other grass. this is, if you can see here, we use a containers and we turn when we finish the train in this fire department in Cordoba. If you see under air, you have this, and this is bigger than the other grass around because they receive the product with gasoline and the grass grow better. Why is yellow? Because they don't receive the sun. They don't create the chlorophyll. 2 weeks later, in the same part, see, under air, you have the same color. It's not a problem. When in this province, they can see this, the environmental organization have clue that this product is not a big issue for the forest. And they start to say, oh, it's okay to use the product in the middle of the fire. Okay, let me share with you this case history in the Bolivian Amazon. Here, we use a lot of product. Our company donate 1,000 liters to the city of Concepción in Santa Cruz de la Sierra.
Y comenzaron las tareas de carga para comenzar a aplicar de forma terrestre el agente encapsulador efectivo.
Here we arrive and we give to the government of Bolivia. They put inside of this tank and they share with different of this equipment. They start to use. Here we are putting inside of the tank. They don't have a doctor, they don't have equipment. We only put the paste. And this is from the government, and this is that's the day before. You can smell, you can touch when you use the product. It's cooler. It's more effective. The day before, they have a tank truck of 10,000 liters, and they use this truck 4 times to charge. From the fire to the lake that they put water, they have 1 hour. 1 hour to go to the lake, 1 hour to return to the fire. And they have to go to went 4 times to the lake the day before we arrived. When we start to work with A500, we charge on the morning, and the driver, when I return in the afternoon, I told how many trips you went to the lake. No, we only spent 4,000 liters with this agent, and we have 6,000 liters more. All the brigades, when they return, they don't have to return to the fire. See, here is a fire chief of Bolivia. He commented that when they throw the product, they have 10 hours
Al finalizar la tarde se tiene previsto una reunión con autoridades de
la provincia y
autoridades militares y bomberos, como también
use the
representantes de la
backpacks,
gobernación.
more meters walking without any problem of the reignition of the fire. They start to understand that they start to be more effective on the fire. And here you have these 2 persons. This is a testimonial in the middle of the fire.
Estamos en la propiedad de San Blas. Estamos con un efectivo de 8 bomberos de primera línea, realizando el control de un incendio que había ingresado a la propiedad la madrugada de ayer, y a un nuevo sector porque ya la propiedad ha sido afectada. Nos encontramos realizando ahorita trabajos de extinción y control, haciendo uso del encapsulante F500, un producto que nos ha dotado la gobernación. Vale recalcar que el producto nos ahorra bastante trabajo, ya que hemos visto que con 1000 litros la eficiencia de nuestro trabajo es 3 a 5 veces mayor. Entonces eso nos ahorra tiempo, nos ahorra desgaste, nos ahorra horas hombre trabajadas y obviamente efectividad sobre el terreno, ¿no? Estamos aquí más de
This guy is a
30 días ya,
person that work in the farm,
combatiendo tanto aquí en la propiedad como
no
en la comunidad vecina,
air
¿no?
professional firefighter.
Pero justamente ahora nos tocó ensayar ese producto y bueno, lo hemos visto que es mejor que el agua. Tanto hemos trabajado nosotros con las máquinas como han visto. Hemos botado miles de litros de agua y no enfría tan rápido como lo he sentido ahorita. Entonces han visto que me he metido entre medio de las brasas, se podría decir, entre medio de los tizones, y lo he sentido menos caliente que con agua. Entonces nos ha dado buenos resultados. Hasta el momento, como le digo, es la primera vez que estamos utilizando.
Okay, this is the testimonial of these people. This is why I want to share with you the testimonial of the persons, firefighter, and the people don't have the experience of the firefighter, and how they use with all equipments. And when they start to use this product in the middle of the fire, and they can feel that the temperature decrease, that they don't feel the temperature on his feet, because they spray and the ground is cooler than when they use water. They start to understand how they can use in different way this technology. This is from this fire in the middle of the Amazon. The fire chief give me this operational positive aspect of the encapsulator agent. When you use in air operations, the direct action with solid discharge in the fires allows a rapid cooling of the units on the ground to be able to extinguish the fire safely. When you extinguish, is safer for the people on the ground because you don't have reignition, and you can, if you have a problem and somebody can throw this ion escape route, you can protect the escape route of the firefighter if they are in problems. See, we have some history here that the firefighter don't arrive for a safe area and died in the middle of the fire. If you can use now this technology with air, or you can use to spray around, you can protect better that you don't have nothing or you have only water. For the in the grounds operation, they can understand that when they use the agent in the water backpath for fire, they have an efficient saving in 30% of the working energy for the user. They spend less water and they can walk more time spraying the agent without the problem with the reignition of have a reignition on his bags. Okay? The cooling capacity of the product, they can understand the value of to use this product, not only to spray it and to control, but to protect different facilities and to stop the propagation of the fire. The best thing that they comment to me in the middle of the fire, Hernan, we love this because we don't have reignition. When we spray the product, we feel more comfortable that we can walk away many kilometers or meters without the problem that we start or we have a fire behind us. When we spray with this product, we know that we don't have any reignition. And this is a comparison when you use a pail of this agent at 1%. If you have a helicopter with a Bambi bucket of 1,000 liters, you can spray with one pail 2 helicopters. If you have this fish a tub of 500 liters, you can use in 4, and you can use in 100 forest backpack of 20 liters. This, you don't have a ignition, but if you want to use this and 0.5% on forest fire, you will have for 4 helicopters, you can use for 8 first attacks, and you can use in 200 forest backpacks. We recommend 1% in this kind of fires, but I know that some of the different firefighters to spend less product, they use 0.5%, and they can use, it was success with 0.5%. With this, I want to say thank you for everybody. And the idea of this is try to explain how this technology works and how we start to use in different fires all around South America, on how we start to test here in USA to be more safe. Okay. With this,